Let's go inside Vallejo Police Department. I think I was in Vallejo today, really.
Okay. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna grab that gun. If he reaches for it, you know what to do. Hey, keep it. Vallejo, David, 3 shots fired. Shots fired.
Vallejo is once again investigating a deadly police shooting.
These officers were celebrating in a gang-like ritualistic fashion the murder and death of black and brown people.
I will fuck you up.
$15 million paid out in recent lawsuits.
The lawsuits accuse police of racial profiling, excessive force, and other misconduct.
The police have been hunting and murdering people, citizens.
And I started thinking, what's gonna happen if we get around the corner? And so we started shooting while he's running away from us.
Who the fuck are you to be the judge, jury, and executioner that night?
Just hours ago, we learned that a Hispanic man was kneeling when a Vallejo police officer shot and killed him.
Watching all of these other families suffer, and nobody will listen to them.
Hey, he pointed a gun at us. Don't move.
Do not move. What about Vallejo?
Put your hands out. Put your hands out. Oh. You'll be all right. We've been through this before.
Suspect is down, appears to be 10-10. We're getting a med kit here.
Holy fucking shit! Holy fucking shit! All right then, let's do it.
Is this one Sean's?
Yeah.
Remember this one? Here's Sean as a baby. I think he was 1. I don't know, maybe a few months or 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then this is him when he was 3. The baby ones when we were younger, we keep
Those
out.
are out.
Those are out. But
I've never done
for our family,
Alcatraz.
it's harder to see him.
The more recent ones?
The more recent ones, because
That's how he was. That's how he looked right before.
When my parents came to San Francisco from Argentina, they sacrificed so much for us to come here. It hurts to hear my mom when she cries about coming here and then knowing that you still live in a place where the state basically murdered your only son. As a young Latino man, you become a target.
Damn,
He
dude.
felt like every time he was like in a step forward, he always felt like he got pulled 10 steps back.
I've been trying to hear about this. So you breathe a little bit more.
I remember when George Floyd passed and Sean would start like cursing at the TV and be like, I'm tired of this. Why does it keep happening to us? He told us he was gonna go out and protest.
we just thought nothing of it. We went to bed, and then I got a phone call. Sean's girl called me hysterically crying, he's dead. And I was just so confused that I jumped out of bed and I was like, Michelle, get up, something's wrong. Right after the phone call, I checked where he's at and I was like, Leo.
Just hearing those words, your body goes into shock. And we got in the car and I drove as fast as I could.
I called 911 and he said, well, you're just gonna have to find out on the news like everybody else, and hangs up the phone. Michelle checks the inmate finder to see if he's in Solano County Jail. He's not there.
At that point, we're like, you know what? We're not getting anything here. And I sped back home, and that's when we sat down with my mom. And then my mom was just like, let's just pray before bed, and then, we'll get answers in the morning. 6 a.m, Ashley said, I'm gonna call the coroner's office.
I'm talking to the lady, trying to figure out if he's in there. And she said, what's his birthday? And I said, 4/24/1998. She said, yes, he's here.
Damn, man.
It's been so hard because it's things.
That's so fucking cold, bruh. You're not even known by your fucking name. What's his birthday? Yeah, we got him. Like, you fucking kidding me? Because they have other people that match that fucking description. That's the only reason. What's he look like? Well, he's the Mexican man. Well, I'm going to need more than that. Short hair with tattoos. I'm going to need more than that. And I'm not going to look at each one of these tattoos. You know what? Just give me his birthday. You know what? That's such a cold fucking way of doing it. Like, it just shows the, like, lack of care for human life.
You want to, like, try not to remember anymore. But to this day, we still have a lot of questions. You know, why Vallejo? You know, the Bay Area is really big, but, like, we still need to understand why Vallejo.
So this is the Walgreens over here on Sonoma and Redwood where Sean Monterosa died. He was killed by the Vallejo cops. Right there, he died, I think, on the other side of that far pillar. Didn't fight, didn't run, just knelt down. Somebody's kid.
I am a deputy public defender. I work in the Vallejo courthouse where I've worked for the vast majority of my career. Vallejo is not as well known as other parts of the Bay Area. It's a city of about 120,000 people, and it's simply not spoken of or thought of as often. When I showed up in 2006, I knew that the Vallejo Police Department was a completely different kind of animal. It's shocking the number of things that just happen within a couple blocks of my office. We're gonna go over to the scene. One of the worst officer-involved shootings that I know of, in my opinion. Yeah, I think it happened right here. And he's just emptying his weapon into this car. There was a passenger. I would describe a culture of impunity. Guys are coming there to work there because they want some action.
The block down there is where they had shot the dude in the bar that's now a donut shop.
Something had been going on where things had gotten really, really bad.
God damn.
There were a tremendous amount of really questionable detentions and contacts.
What
many
the
of which
fuck?
turned violent. It is about cops and robbers, bang, bang, shoot, shoot, get the bad guy.
How the fuck was that?
There were a tremendous amount of really questionable detentions and contacts, many of which turned violent. It is about cops and robbers, bang, bang, shoot, shoot, get the bad guys. Go out there and get the bad guys.
Shots fired, officers, okay, shots fired. 20
The idea that there's us on one side and the criminals on the other side. The criminals, we gotta go get the criminals.
How you doing?
All right, man. How many times did you get hit?
I got hit, what, 2 times? Yeah, that's what they did to me. And that's from getting shot from behind. And it came through right here. And then this is from my main artery. They had to cut me open that big.
Most places in America, the vast majority of police officers are never involved in a shooting in their entire career. I think in the last 20 years in this town, by my count, there have been at least 55 separate officer-involved shooting incidents, many of which involved more than one officer firing.
At its peak, the rate of officer-involved shootings in Vallejo was 38 times the national average.
The relationship those neighborhoods and the people who live in them have with the Vallejo Police Department is terrible. It is a relationship of fear and hypervigilance and aggression.
There's been no accountability. No accountability for the Vallejo Police Department. I'm so sorry, but what happened? Calling the cops is a last resort. They see them as this intermittently occupying force, and that has to be negotiated very carefully.
Oh, watch out, please.
You need to be a tough police officer in this tough neighborhood and set a tone. And I wanted to be a person who was willing to do that.
They just pulled up, going on some bitch ass shit.
My name is Joshua Coleman, and I worked for the Vallejo Police Department for over 10 years.
If I asked you, is the Vallejo PD's reputation for being aggressive, or is there something behind that?
I don't think that it's unwarranted. The frustrating thing for me boils down to what we have become hyper-focused on. That this is an epidemic that is out of control. When are we gonna focus on what is going on in our communities who are raised to believe that it's normal for your family members to get murdered, and it's normal to carry a firearm, and it's normal to have an adversarial relationship with the police. But I would ask that the news, the media, attempt to look at the world through our eyes to understand what it would be like to be in our shoes. We get to see the true violent capability of people. Unfortunately, those are the things that we see that shape us. A man parked his truck right there, and he was carrying
I've been to that motherfucker.
An assault rifle. He turned,
I've been to that Starbucks before, bro. I've gotten coffee there before.
And he pointed the rifle.
It's right at a fucking like a truck stop. You go there when you're going down to Sonoma.
Partner and I, we chased him through these bushes down the street. And I started thinking, what's gonna happen if we get around the corner? So like my niece and nephew live literally around the next corner. And so we started shooting while he's running away from us, right? So like the shots were in his back. By this time I had been in 3 previous shootings. Had I not been in those previous shootings, it's possible I may not have survived this one. The reality is, like, I lived in these neighborhoods, and I want the police to stop things from happening.
Bro, you don't want the police to stop killing people. That doesn't seem to be an issue.
Give you guys a rundown about the plan. Sitting down, meeting with both the attorneys for the city, some city officials. My name is John Coyle. I'm a partner at McElder, Young, Pertel, and Merritt. The Monterosa family actually reached out to us. We represent some of the more high-profile victims of police violence. Antoine Rose in Pittsburgh, Jamel Roberson in Illinois and Chicago.
That's
and of
facts.
course, Sean Monterosa here in California.
We filed a civil lawsuit, and our legal team has been talking to the city attorneys in Vallejo. And aside from like monetary compensation, we're really trying to implement policy or departmental changes in the city and the Vallejo Police Department.
This case has a lot of legs left in it. There's a lot of stones left to overturn. What I found in my practice across the country, though, is that the worse the situation, the longer it takes.
Good afternoon.
The department's response to the shooting was just sloppy from the very beginning.
All right, thank you. Not as easy as it looks. These are the facts as we know them today. On June 2nd, our officers received a return call indicating that looters had returned to the Walgreens.
Go back to the scene, AC. Okay.
It's about a week or so after George Floyd's death. Protests and riots had sort of gripped the country and the Bay Area. There was an effort to loot the Walgreens.
Multiple vehicles pulled up to Walgreens, went through the pharmacy window. They're inside.
And then you have a strategic tactical response team that's going to respond to the most high-profile incidents, and they get dispersed out to this Walgreens without any type of plan.
Hey, with that unit. Go with that unit.
The officers from the Vallejo PD pulled up in a number of unmarked vehicles.
It looks like they're armed, possibly armed.
Everyone fled in 2 cars, except Sean. Sean was in the parking lot.
All right, X-ray 42, we're out Walgreens.
The truck carrying Detective Tan and his 2 partners pulled into the parking lot with lights on. Detective Tan pointed his M4 rifle through the heads of his partners.
44, we got shots fired.
Fired, I believe, 5 shots. One of them struck Sean in the back of the skull and killed him. It was shocking. It looked like combat footage from Afghanistan. A silenced assault rifle through the window of a truck while it was moving.
44, we got shots fired at Walgreens.
And so I think the department got very far out in front of itself very early.
A single male dressed in black who appeared to be running toward the black sedan but suddenly stopped.
The department originally said that Sean had taken a kneeling tactical shooting position and was reaching for what he believed was a firearm and pointing it at the vehicle. And none of that makes sense when you look at the forensics. And the very simple forensics of he was shot in the middle of the back of his head. And then when you couple that with watching the body camera footage and you hear Tan say, "What did he point at us?" This whole idea that he was taking a tactical shooting stance, it just becomes a fallacy.
Oh, roll him over, cuff him. Roll him over, cuff him. Fucking stupid. I'm down my gun. Okay, it's live.
I don't think it was that thoughtful or strategic. I think it might just be something that was ingrained in him, making officers believe that every person they encounter is likely going to kill them.
This is not what I fucking needed tonight. Well, I thought he was armed too, dude. I saw him going like this. He was on the radio. It's not what I... You'll be all right, dude. You'll be all right. Not what I needed tonight. Calm down.
Oh yeah, bro. I hope you go to fucking prison. I hope you go to fucking prison for the rest of your fucking life. Are you kidding me? You got shot in the back of the head? And you were saying that he was taking a kneeling position facing the fucking vehicle. But he got shot in the back of the head. Cool. I'm glad facts mean everything in police reports.
You're gonna be all right. Okay? You're gonna be all right. No. You'll be all right now. We've been through this before. You'll be all right. Just take deep breaths, okay? Calm down.
It starts with little missteps, with a story coming out that can't hold up to the forensics.
I couldn't really see, again, angles that well, and I see what looks like the handle of a pistol. I immediately went through my head, I was like, we're getting in a shootout. 100%, I was like, we're getting in a shootout.
And then once that happens, it's a cascade.
I knew that I had to fire multiple rounds quickly with a hope that one of those rounds would be effective in stopping someone who I believe was trying to kill us.
The story that was originally peddled by both the department and Officer Tan was complete nonsense.
Do you feel like you had any other options?
No, none whatsoever.
There's any in here we should get rid of?
No. Do them with these. Those might need to be bent, right? No. Who the fuck
Damn,
is this
bro.
person? And why did he think it was okay to handle that night the way he did?
All officers
Who the fuck are you to be the judge, jury, and executioner that night? What would it look like if they had just stopped the car, jumped out, and said, "Oh, get on your knees, hands behind your head"?
And we try not to talk about him, but there's just a lot of pain, a lot of questions.
Jared Tan had a reputation as a guy that was really heavy-handed on the street.
For real, man? Put your hand behind your back. Let me go! I didn't do nothing! I just got off of work. Oh my God.
Jerton had 4 shootings.
Damn, dude.
While he was a Vallejo police officer.
You move, I'm gonna put a ball in your fucking head. You understand me?
The shootings kind of got more disturbing as time went on.
Where you shot? Everywhere. Oh, you rammed my friend. You rammed me. We thought you were gonna kill him. No.
And each one is progressively less justified. No matter what happened, he was always going to be the first person to escalate it to the next level of force.
Give us the other arm. Give us the other arm.
It just went on and on and on.
Just fucking brain
Finally,
that
we
guy,
arrived
dude.
at Sean Monterosa, who dies on his knees in a Walgreens parking lot, getting shot in the back of the neck. This is the progression of, what the Vallejo Police Department emboldens you to.
Anytime there's a high-profile fatal police shooting, it becomes a political football. Both the DA and the Vallejo PD were conducting criminal and administrative investigations.
We've called upon the OIR group to conduct an independent, third-party administrative investigation.
The windshield, which obviously is a critical piece of evidence in a shooting where you shoot through the windshield, was destroyed when the truck was taken for repair on June 4th, just a couple days after the shooting.
Wow.
And you have this drone footage that supposedly captured the entire incident from above that all of a sudden is corrupted. And in a way that felt like the beginnings of a cover-up. I think it really exploded after that.
Yesterday, hundreds of people turned out to march through Vallejo to the Walgreens where he was killed.
The CHP Capitol Protection Section arrested 17 protesters, including Michelle and Ashley.
Governor Newsom, shame on you!
It seemed like no one wanted to look at this for what it was, which is an unjustified killing.
We also hope that Officer Jerton is held accountable, whether that be fire arrested and convicted.
Vallejo eventually took the appropriate steps in outsourcing to third parties to complete the administrative investigation. But they sat on that report from summer of 2021 until early December that OIR found this shooting to be unjustified, that it violated multiple policies and procedures of the department. So you have a timeline of nearly 18 months where the Vallejo response is to obfuscate and delay. It took far too long to get an independent investigator in. It took far too long after that investigator found that Tom was absolutely...
See, you know what makes me, why I'm glad about this shit coming out? How many of you, damn, only 271,000. Bro, I was hoping this would be in the fucking millions.
Wrong in shooting, and it's been far too long that the criminal investigation's been outstanding.
Okay, Rogers, 330. Lucero, 416. Braxton, 475. You can start another column now. Bedour, 578.
This is all the guys at the Vallejo Police Department that have been in a shooting or been in a fatal incident over the last 25 years or so. I've been keeping track. I can tell you who was with who when they shot so-and-so and putting the puzzle pieces together.
And Hendricks, and that's the end of your list.
So Ramrock is a lieutenant. Bauer is a lieutenant now. Over time, I began to see Vallejo police officers that had reputations for really excessive uses of force over and over again. Get promoted, I began to see them move up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Disturbing allegations against members of the Vallejo Police Department that they had a tradition of officers bending their badges as a way to mark people they had killed.
In the wake of the Sean Monterosa shooting, the news broke this story about the tradition of badge bending.
This is yet another black guy for the Vallejo Police Department, still dealing with community distrust and a lot of deadly shootings.
I think among the people who knew about it, it was a status that people wanted to earn. And it was a way in which to prove oneself. Recognitions of that nature create incentives. And they normalize conduct. It started to become clear, you know, this had happened, they were gonna have to address it in some way.
Chief Williams launched an independent third-party investigation into allegations of badge bending by Vallejo police officers.
The council will receive a confidential memorandum with regard to that.
They bend one of the edges of their badges for each person that they killed.
Topic and make a decision as to how much of that confidential memorandum you do want released to the public.
The findings of an independent investigation into Vallejo police misconduct are not being released publicly.
The law in California says that all investigations and records relating to officer-involved shootings have to be turned over to the public. Their position is the records about the secret ritual they had to commemorate shootings are not records that relate to officer-involved shootings. That is how morally and intellectually bankrupt the city of Vallejo's position actually is.
So this is my officer's badge from Vallejo PD. Then this is the one that was bent. You can see that this point is lower than the rest of them.
Do you know who started it?
I do know.
Who started the practice of badge bending?
Kent Tribble.
Kent Tribble, your sergeant.
Correct. After my first officer-involved shooting, he said, wouldn't it be nice if you could look around and see a visual indicator of people that you could trust in a moment of chaos and know that that was somebody that you could rely on? And then he took my badge and he bent it. And so you can kind of see that there's a little bit of breaking through the P and the O in the word police, right? The difference between this and these is that this was done in secret, essentially, and this was done through an official process. What I needed was validation. And in that moment, after that shooting, I felt validated.
Piece of fucking shit.
Everybody looks up to, but he's also a guy that's just very aggressive dude, you know, like he's just a very commanding presence, and I was intimidated by him, for sure. I can think of one particular incident when I was a brand new police officer, and you were required to go on ride-alongs every month. And this dude straight up just drew his gun and put his gun right to the side of my head and started screaming at me and was like, put your fucking seatbelt on, I'm not gonna fucking tell you again. And I was like looking at this dude and I got hot. I got so hot inside it. And what made me more pissed is that I ate it and I swallowed that, and I never forgot that. I never forgot that. To illustrate how, I guess, how ashamed I was, I didn't tell like one of the most important people in my life.
Bruh, I don't give a fuck about you crying. I don't. I really don't. I have no sympathy for you, bruh. You murdered what? You were in 3 officer-involved
shootings?
shootings?
Do you think you could have said no?
You murdered a motherfucker? Go fuck yourself.
No, I don't think so. There's this
Sit on
overwhelming
2
pressure
dicks and
of
spin.
just going along
I give
with
no
it because
fucks about
law
your
enforcement's
tears.
heavy on chain of
Zero
command and rank
fucks
structure.
about your tears.
And you tend to not go against the people who are above you. It's kind of a weird thing. When you're on the bottom, you're on the bottom. I think what I failed to do in that circumstance was to look at it from the perspective of what it means for the person who sees this as a symbol of trust and what that would mean to them.
I had no clue the fucking Vallejo Police Department was this fucking bad. Maybe it's because I don't fucking do any research into my own fucking politics.
Police officers that bent the tips of their badges to commemorate murdering members of our community.
The killing of Sean Monterosa, it happened in a moment that I think has been a catalyst for some change, something to happen, and perhaps to produce some public accounting to this community about what happened to them in the last 20 years.
Because even though it's not your family member right now, next year it could be your family member. Because it could be anybody.
Justice! Now! Open that pack up! Open that pack up!
All right, if we could quiet down, we'll go ahead and start moving this meeting towards completion. One thing at a time. We're still on this item. We'll get to it. Don't worry about it. Come on. You know the rules. I'm going to clear this room if you guys can't quiet down. Do we have a sergeant of arms available?
May I suggest we take a recess?
Thank you. We will take a recess and let you guys scream all you want.
Fake-ass motherfucker! You said you were with us! Fuck you, you ain't! You're all complicit! Yeah, you and Joe! You're bullshit!
You ain't got shit to say? Mr. Chief?
No,
fucking smiling in their faces, bruh.
Head of your fucking lap! Head of your fucking lap!
That badge bending!
Bring that shit out! What is
Bring it
that?
out!
What are you
I'm
scared?
Bring it out!
I think that Shawnee Williams billed himself as a reformer, and I think probably that's how he sees himself. But he's also a career rank-and-file law enforcement guy. It seems inconceivable to me that he could have really understood what he was walking into in the Vallejo Police Department.
Do what's right. Do it. Release it. You got the power. You have the power to fire these officers that bent their badges. Don't say you don't.
I've been the City of Vallejo Police Chief since November of 2019. Our mission is to be more accountable, is to be more transparent. And building reconciliation, it's hard work. It's not easy.
You can do it. You can do it tomorrow. Why are you not doing it?
The issues that everyone's frustrated with is badge bending.
So I will say that that's an ongoing personnel matter. I ordered a third-party investigation into that matter. And all matters of misconduct are taken seriously by my office.
That investigation has concluded though, right? Why isn't that report public?
Because it's a personnel matter. If there's a question regarding how we're rebuilding and what we're doing to progress the department, I'd be welcome to hear those. But I thought this interview was going to be about what we're doing internally.
It is. That's what you're doing internally. You're covering shit up.
I know you guys want to go into the past history and, when we had New Jim Crow, we had, slavery in our country. We had to move forward. And how do you move forward without reconciliation?
It's jail to hell. I'm telling you.
This is public that in a lot of instances have been irreparably traumatized, and you're asking them to do their best to move on.
It's difficult, right? Reconciliation is not easy.
What seems to be lacking from the conversation is accountability for past actions. That's the only reason, that's the definition.
Oh, okay, I can't change that, though. But is accountability really lacking?
I'm gonna need Umar. I'm gonna need Umar for this, brother, bro. That's the only thing I can do. Umar!
Y'all hunted our kids like dogs. Y'all took half of my motherfucking soul when y'all took my child from me. My motherfucking life ain't gonna never be the same.
Happy birthday, Sean. Thinking of the life you could have lived if you had lived longer. You left an impact on the world.
There definitely is a loneliness when your family loses a loved one to police violence.
I am the same age that you were when you were killed. It could have been any of us out there.
I think we're still trying to find ourselves, right, through all of this. Who am I after June 2nd? And
there was no, like, I don't understand, man.
Remind myself who I was before June 2nd.
We are going to fight until your name gets justice, because you deserve to be here.
There's so many families that are part of this group that no one wants to be a part of. So I felt like from June 2nd, we were nonstop trying to do everything we can to get attention.
What do we want? Healing! What do we want it? Now! What do we want? Healing! What do we want it? Now!
No, we're just trying to make sure what happened to Sean doesn't happen to anyone anymore.
Safety looks like this. Safety looks like communities coming together.
There's a lot of things that make you feel like you should be skeptical, but I think our hopefulness overpowers that.
Our assignment is to call our assembly members to push forward these bills because our loved ones are no longer here and we need the resources for us to begin our healing journey.
This is the longest time period that the Vallejo Police Department hasn't murdered somebody. We literally stopped that killing spree.
We're gonna be the last family affected by the Vallejo Police Department, and we really hope to achieve that.
Who speaks? Survivors speak. Survivors speak.
The city of Vallejo has fought tooth and nail to not release any information regarding the misconduct of officers. I have a hearing for a case. We talk about what evidence might come in at trial be admissible.
Wouldn't it be amazing if you treated cops like that, like fucking criminals? Like literally the FBI just swarms those motherfuckers in a way that they can't just burn all the documents and shit, right? Fucking tie them all up, throw them in the back, smack them around a little extra just for the fun of it. Motherfuckers try to pull their weapons and try to, they get splapped up right there, right then and there. Boom. Done. Not a fucking joke. We're the FBI, bitch. Federal. Sit on the fucking floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they were treated the same way they came at situations, right? Because that's the deal. They're the biggest gang in the fucking city.
Maybe we're gonna hear some of these cops ask some questions about whether or not they bent their badges to commemorate shooting, and therefore to have it become part of the public record.
Please state your full name and spell your last name for the record.
Estrada, J-A-K-E-E-S-T-R-A-D-A.
In an unrelated case, Nick Villeroy and Tracy Krause called several officers suspected of badge bending to testify.
Did you ever bend Sanjay Ramraka's badge?
I believe I did.
Did you become aware of the practice of badge bending?
I did.
At the time, the way it was explained to me, this was nothing. To be honest, it was not a big deal at all.
He asked me for my badge and bent one of the tips on my badge. Recognized it in that moment as more of an informal medal process because the uniform does have medals.
Hell yeah.
I knew the spin was gonna be.
Yeah, you motherfucker. You got it on public record. Yeah. Can't deny that shit anymore.
No. We don't have a freaky blood death ritual. We have a solemn, supporting recognition of guys who've had to make the ultimate split-second decision to pull the trigger.
I thought that it was commonplace that other people's badges had been bent. I didn't really think too much of it.
Anybody who's ever been anywhere near an American fraternity house can tell you that the support group and the blood death ritual can be the same thing. This was an established tradition that was part of the institutional culture of violence and excessive force that existed at the Vallejo Police Department for nearly 2 decades. Did you contact Officers Komodo and McLaughlin to indicate to them that they needed to fix their badges, that you would defend the badges back?
Yes, and I think I went as far as to tell anybody else that's got these, you gotta make sure it's done, it's over with.
It also came out in testimony that there was a concerted effort to bend the badges back to cover this practice up and to stop it without any documentation or investigations.
I created a liability for not only myself, my coworkers in the department, for the perception. And for that, I'm sincerely sorry.
I think it's really significant for the community that some of these cops actually had to get on a witness stand and address the existence of this practice.
Damn.
Hey, there she is. How are you?
I'm good.
There's a couple of sort of developments that I wanted to make sure you were aware of. There's been an effort in some criminal cases involving some of the officers that were allegedly, badge benders. A statement from the public defender related to Jared Ton. There's an indication that Kent Tribble says in his statement in that investigation that he bent Ton's badge and that this actually happened before Sean's shooting. It actually happened before 2017.
I mean, it's something we felt that was happened, I'm not surprised.
There's some indication there that Tom was actively involved in that custom. And obviously we're gonna use this to try to jar loose as much as we can about that badge bending investigation. You guys have any questions?
It's a lot. I don't think I have a question right now, but more so, I guess, keep going boots to the ground again right now with what's coming out.
If anything comes up, let me know.
Okay. Thank you, John.
All right, take care.
Bye. What do you think?
It's an update. Like a week ago, we were like, oh my God, we haven't heard, Sean's birthday's coming up. We need to know something at least.
Now I'm thinking about it. I don't know, maybe we should text John or email him again and ask if it's worth even making a post about it.
I wonder if it's in Zoom or in person so we can shut that shit down. You know what I mean?
¿Qué tal, amigos? Me encuentro justamente frente al edificio municipal de Vallejo. Ahí dentro se está realizando una reunión del consejo de esta ciudad y aquí al frente del edificio se encuentran algunos familiares de personas que han perdido la vida a manos de la policía de Vallejo. Michelle, cuéntanos, ¿por qué estás el día de hoy aquí en esta reunión del consejo? ¿Qué es lo que están pidiendo todavía 2 años después de que ocurrió la muerte de tu hermano?
Estas son una reunión demandando que esta gente que tiene poder de hacer que tomen acción. Ya estamos cansados de ellos que nos digan perdón por la pérdida, condolences y esos no, cuando ellos puedan realmente hacer acciones. Por eso estamos aquí demandando a los city council members, city attorneys, city managers y al mayor que investiguen a los oficiales que la insignia de la estrella de bende cuando ellos matan a alguien y hacen una celebración. Que Sean sea el último aquí que la policía mata en la ciudad de Vallejo. Michelle, nice to meet you.
This is Tracy. There's some information that I am gonna speak to tonight about the things that happened to people in this town, about what their police department did, about what the officers in it did, that has never been public and I don't think anybody knows about.
We have a serious crisis here in our city. The Vallejo police are violent, corrupt, and racist.
You're all sitting there with this blank look on your face, and you're still not doing anything about the Vallejo Police Department.
That's Drew Ramsey, and he shot a guy in the back running away on foot.
That guy?
This guy's a badge bender! This guy's a badge bender! Drew Ramsey, you're a badge bender! Badge number 539.
I just don't get why the city has a badge bender in city council. Drew Ramsey.
539 Drew Ramsey.
I've brought this information here for you tonight.
Damn, bro.
There were 3 of these 13 chrome badge orders invoiced in a single day. Detective Sean Kenny, Officer Jason Bauer, and Corporal Jeremy Huff, who'd all been in a shooting within the preceding 12 months. I'm happy to come back and give you guys a whole lot of information about this that I've gathered. Mr. Mayor, I would love to give you this flash drive if I can approach.
It's hard to get up here and not cry.
Did you see the fucking eye roll of them when they're like handed over?
Give you this flash drive if I can approach.
Look at the fucking eye roll of this bitch. Like, really?
It's hard to get up here and not cry, because this city has brought so much pain upon my family. In 2017, Jarrett Ton got his start bet. There are still badge benders that you know of that are still employed by this city. And these are all the ones that we were able to read from the court transcripts that you guys don't want to release to the public. We have an opportunity where we can get rid of one badge bender now. You guys can do everything within your power to ensure that Jarrett Ton is not back on the streets. And there is no other Sean Monterosa, no Willie McCoy, no Angel Ramos, no Mario Romero, no Ronald Foster.
Will you fire Jarrett Ton, yes or no?
The answer is no, because the council...
We will not fire Jarrett Ton. So you're gonna walk away. You're not gonna say nothing.
When Sean first passed away, we had no connections to Vallejo, really know anything about it.
All these people, we have all these family that really embraced us.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming out with the family of Willie McCoy. Your support here for one family is a support for all of our families, so thank you.
And it's really nice to have that network of families.
We want to give the opportunity to all the impacted families from Vallejo or wherever else you're from. If you're here, you know how we do it. We're going to give you a chance to come up, tell your story, say your loved one's name.
There are so many families here in this one little city that's so overlooked in the whole Bay Area. You know, we have to do better.
The sisters' advocacy helped lead to the introduction of legislation cracking down on police misconduct and expanding resources to victims.
We gotta unite with the other families. And, you know, there's 37 that we know, but there's probably way more that we don't even know.
I don't really take satisfaction by people being locked in cages, but I would take a lot of satisfaction if we could just find a way to say that a bunch of these guys aren't allowed to be cops anymore.
Willie McCoy!
Willie McCoy!
Mario Romero!
Mario Romero!
Guy Giroux!
Guy Giroux!
Angel Ramos!
Angel Ramos!
Sean Monterosa!
Sean Monterosa!
Ronald Foster!
More than 2 years after the killing of Sean Monterosa, Jarrett Ton was fired from the Vallejo Police Department.
Stephen Taylor!
What else? Come on.
Miles Holmes!
He has yet to face criminal charges. Of course.
Miles Holmes! Alex
Nieto!
Yeah. Chief Shawnee Williams resigned in November 2022.
Anti-Barrett!
Yeah, his bitch ass went out like last month. Wow.
There are some Jeremiah Moore.
2 days ago.
Jarrett Ton and the other officers mentioned did not respond to our requests for comment.
Amir Locke.
Oh, of course not. The report on badge bending has not been released. Of course not. Why would it?
I'm Michael Learmonth, editor-in-chief of Vice News.
That was a great one. Oh, dude. Way better than that one asshole that started the Proud Boys. Good job.